Welcome, Libra. This is Regina from Pacific Tarot, getting ready to do a new moon in Cancer reading for you. The new moon is active as you're receiving this reading. So there are a number of ways in which the entire globe is experiencing the opportunity to emotionally reset. And that contributes to the way that we redefine home and we redefine new beginnings. This is about creating space, and this is a continuation of the kind of energy that we have been building towards for the past couple of months at the very least. So let's start with the Serpent Wisdom Oracle, and I pull connection to Earth. And this is really beautiful. This is really inclining me to believe that you are working towards some kind of significant social service. This is about perhaps balancing the literal environment that you live in, creating a service or an effort among a community or a variety of communities to heal the earth, to make healthier connections. This can be through food, diet, exercise, meditation, but it's also about referencing the earth, referencing the Mother Earth to gain a sense of balance, of peace, simplifying, reducing wasted effort, eliminating waste in a way that is given to us and guided us by the natural world and environment. We find inner balance by connecting ourselves with the natural world. And this doesn't require you to live in the country or at a sacred site. This can be experienced in a city park. This can be experienced in your own backyard if you have one, or sitting at the beach. But a natural environment or space in which you can find some degree of calm, advising, connecting with animal spirits, bird spirits, plant life. And I pulled from the Crystal Oracle the diamond. And I'm going to read a little bit about the diamond. Number 20, which is the number of the moon. No, it's judgment, seems relevant here. There's a big revelation that is informing your life's effort. For many of you, it's a professional effort that you're making. It's a way that you are being guided to interact with your community and or leading the community in some way. It's the way others see you. So I'm going to start with a relationship message and then a prosperity message. The relationship message: your ability to act lovingly is strong today, amplified by Diamond Spirit. You're filled with love and capable of deep compassion, even as you speak the truth about how others' behavior affects you. Use your power to set firm boundaries, to listen with an open heart and mind before making a decision, and to express compassion without giving up your integrity. All this wells up from the wisdom you've earned from your previous challenges. Pay attention to whether someone seems afraid to contradict you, for you might unwittingly be discouraging them from owning their power. Be loving, strong, compassionate, and exercise right use of power with everyone you connect with. And the prosperity message: the right use of power means acknowledging your effect on others. You have the power to negotiate, to set boundaries, and to wield your influence respectfully, recognizing that we are all meant to share in the universal flow of abundance. Everyone's needs to be treated fairly and experience prosperity, and you must honor that. When you recognize how your prosperity impacts others, you'll see the rate at which your dreams increase exponentially. This is beautiful energy, and I think this is very much in keeping with a long-term project or effort you've been making that is centered in a community. In your present energy, we have the Moon card. This is interesting. This is describing the fearlessness with which you can face negative behaviors, not just those behaviors of others that are impacting you negatively, but taking responsibility for those within your own life. Those things you may not feel proud of, but you recognize your ability now to take responsibility for those. So this shapes the way that you view what once was viewed as betrayals, heartbreaks, failures, disappointments, being blocked. This is rewiring that, re-understanding that in a way that allows you to surrender those experiences with love. And by that I mean those enemies, those who restricted you, those who even maliciously blocked you in some way. You release the bitterness, the resentment, the anger with which you may recall those incidents of disappointment or pain. And you release those with love. You use compassion. You use love to retool and release that energy of anger, of bitterness, of feeling victimized. And this helps you to employ your compassion appropriately. Doesn't mean that it compromises your integrity, your right use of power. So this is, for many of you, feeling informed through your dream life, using your dream life or your meditations, your prayers as ways of asking for the support, asking for the information or the insight that allows you to release negative images and experiences of the past, retooling them with gratitude so that you understand you wouldn't be where you are without those challenges. In the past, the Ace of Cups. Yeah, there's so much here, so much energy here of love. Connecting to the earth is an act of love. It's the source of love, the planet that we inhabit, the planet that provides us with everything we need. Reconnecting to that, even as we feel so greatly disassociated in our modern environments, that is at our disposal. That continues to be the model that shapes our idea of constructive productivity, balanced productivity, sharing equitably with others, working cooperatively. And this is part of a renewed sense of your capacity, your gift, and the purpose of your gift, the mission that you came here to create. So that particularly for those of you that are creative, and that includes everyone that has ever made anything, built anything, created anything. This is acknowledging the fuel for that creativity, that building, that service that you provide. It's all about an expression of love, compassion, trust in yourself. In the future, we have the Hanged One. This is talking about some kind of a sacrifice, I believe, that you're making at this time. And in many ways, I think this is very specifically about sacrificing the ideas we hold on to, in which we have felt betrayed, or we recognize significant differences we have with others. Those differences may have produced negative impact in your life or vice versa. But there's a way that we're willing to let those go. We understand that holding on to those beliefs, those experiences, those negative emotions that are eating at us, that are blocking our flow, our grace, blocking our blessings, is something that can be released and will yield a greater perspective, the very perspective that helps you to understand the role that you're playing vis-a-vis a community, a project, or an effort that requires you to work with a variety of people. So there is something you're consciously asking for, a greater understanding, greater desire to understand what you experienced in the past and what you hopefully are opening yourself up to. If this reading is resonating with you, Libra, please like this video. Please subscribe to my channel, Pacific Tarot. I thank all of you for your presence here today, for all of your gratitudes and kind words. So thank you. The Ace of Cups in the past is clarified by the Tower and the Page of Swords. In the Moon in the present, the Knight of Pentacles, and the Ten of Swords, the Three of Swords for the Hanged One, and the Wheel of Fortune. A lot of change here, a lot of change that feels like it is landing on us, and a lot of change that we are consciously creating in the world. So in the past, this idea of your creative source, what fueled your efforts, what gave you the motivation and drive to build something, came from a place of dealing with crises, coping with crises, having something that you believed in, something you rely on, crumble before you, be destroyed, implode in a way that perhaps eventually, not immediately, you began to see that as a manifestation of your desire to create something different. And you really recognize that opportunity by accepting that you didn't know what the alternative was. An example could be a loving relationship, or a relationship you felt was reasonably loving, fall apart, disrupted, a surprise revelation, something that helped you to recognize that what you thought was working actually wasn't working. And that despite the way it may have shaken you up, shattered your expectations or your world in some way, you approach this alternative with an open mind. You recognize that this was creating space in a way that you needed to learn more about. You needed to observe alternatives to understand possibilities. And you allowed those possibilities to emerge from your efforts to build something that more deeply resonated with who you are. So in the example of a relationship that failed, you may have seen the possibility of a community providing a lot of the support and or value that you perhaps didn't receive in a relationship. This may be a way in which a parent surprised you, hurt you, or disappointed you, in a way in which you recognized an opportunity to care for that parent in a way that emerged in a new relationship, a renewed relationship, you providing some guidance to a parent who was limited in their perspective, was trying to do things by an old book. And you offered new insights, new exploration, new curiosity about potential. In the present, the Moon card is clarified by the Knight of Pentacles and the Ten of Swords. The release of old beliefs, old expectations that you held yourself accountable to for quite a while. There's even a sense that you were leading something that you recognize was not to your benefit, has required you to create a methodical working plan. So you have approached uncomfortable experiences, behavior patterns you aren't proud of, the idea of guilt or shame that you didn't conform to something that was expected of you, that you somehow were projected a sense of failure by others because you wouldn't take up your part. You've actually created a practical healing approach to this, whereby you've learned to surrender these old beliefs, to stop fighting the expectations of others, even those that you no longer trust in or value, you no longer participate in, and to release that with love, but a lot of effort. And it seems as though your effort has moved along very practical ways of building up something that builds you up, that grows you, that heals you, and that advances a community. So what you've learned, you're sharing with others. You're actually creating a program, a healing practice, or a way that you are not only sharing what you've learned, but growing your capacity to understand more deeply the values that you are now aligning to. This looks like the right use of power. This means standing up to what doesn't work for you, but losing no integrity in the process. Extending your compassion to those you disagree with or that have impacted you negatively. Understanding that more vitriol, more anger, more bitterness will not solve this, will not make it go away, will only entrench these beliefs. It's truly through a release and an expression of compassion, love, that allows you to know how best to support your own healing process as you heal others, or that your healing impacts others in ways you had not expected, but that you have come to practice in some resourceful way. In the future, the Hanged One, clarified by the Three of Swords and the Wheel of Fortune. It's interesting to me that threes and the number 12 both reduce to, obviously, the number 3. This can relate to the octave of love that, by the way, the Empress is fundamental to that octave, to that chord. And so in the Three of Swords, we're all familiar with the sense of betrayal, of heartache, of pain, of suffering, of being done wrong, being rejected, one of the most egregious of those experiences. And how you have worked to identify that pattern and heal that pattern. As a Libra, this is part and parcel of what you came to this life to learn. How to balance out the energies, how to recognize your empowerment in understanding that relationships take the consent and agreement of others, not just you. So the opportunity to approach love in a way that recognizes some sacrifice or compromise is going to be made is something that you're actually changing. You're changing not only in your life, but you're changing that on behalf of some actual structure, some effort, something that you're building, a community, something that others participate in, like cooperation, like equitable exchanges of energy, This is part of what you're creating through whatever you're building. It's not just a thing, it's a process that is a part of what you're creating. And so this is, I sometimes think of this card as karma. You've seeded the karma for a positive change through your own healing practice. And in that way, that impact, that illumination towards things that must be changed, attitudes we hold that cannot generate the kind of abundance we want to experience in the world. And so you're seeing that clearly, and you're experiencing the impact that your healing is doing for others. Bravo, Libra. This is so beautiful. I'm going to finish this up with a crystal oracle, and let's pull the Brazilianite, and the key word is flexibility. I'm flexible and free to be me. I like that very much. I think this really speaks very strongly to this idea about the right use of power, the flexibility required to release something that is no longer serving you, and the ability to open up to the possibilities of greater abundance, greater healing, greater value for everyone. So thank you so much, Libra, for this lovely reading. Until next time, namaste.